From 9 News, this is your news today.
Good morning and welcome. Coming up this Friday, dramatic scenes in Western Sydney where 7 men have been arrested by tactical police. Plus, pressure mounts on Anthony Albanese to recall Parliament as he announces his plan to tackle hate speech and doesn't pass the pub test, the Queensland law that has patrons up in arms.
First up, though, 7 people have been arrested by counter-terrorism police who have stopped a possible violent act from being carried out on Sydney streets. Let's go live to 9 Sydney reporter Nicole Dunn. Nicole, good morning to you. Have any charges been laid?
Not yet, Sarah, but all 7 of those men remain in police custody this morning. It was a significant police response here in Liverpool yesterday afternoon, with camouflaged tactical officers among those swarming a car with Victorian number plates. That vehicle was then rammed, with the men inside restrained by zip ties, lined up along the fence here, some of them bloodied, before being taken away. There is a lot for police to process today, with 9 newspapers reporting that the group was on its way to Bondi. That is a possible line of investigation, but the latest update we have from police is that this was not linked to Sunday's terror attack in Bondi. Sarah, what we do know this morning is that a potentially violent act has been thwarted with the arrest of these men.
Nicole, thank you. Well, family and associates of Sajid and Naveed Akram are distancing themselves from the father and son in the wake of Sunday's terror attack. The Muslim street preachers who took in Naveed in 2019 have labelled him a criminal, thug and terrorist and say he was just a visitor to their programs. Meanwhile, family members of Sajid's in India say they cut ties with him and had no idea of his radical mindset.
The red and yellow flags have returned to Bondi Beach as the community begins to mourn the victims of the Bondi terrorist attack. Jack Hahn is there for us this morning. There will be a community paddle out there this morning, Jack.
There certainly will be, Carl, within about an hour or so. Locals coming out in a place they know and they love, the water, and it is simply beautiful here. Take a look, you can see some are already assembling out there on their surfboards. Look how calm the water is. It's just beautiful, beautiful blue with this amazing backdrop of the sun rising. We're expecting hundreds of people here coming together, either sitting in silence or speaking to one another. And boy, don't they need each other after the last 24 hours with 3 people laid to rest, including little Matilda, the 10-year-old, farewelled with bees on a balloon, let go into the sky. And then also the eldest victim, the Holocaust survivor, Alex Kleitman, this brave, brave man who did not die at the hands of Nazi Germany, but died at the hands of terrorists here on Bondi Beach while protecting his wife. So amid so much sorrow and darkness, this morning a chance for some light. Carl.
Jack, thank you. The Prime Minister, meantime, is facing mounting pressure to reconvene Parliament before Christmas to bring in new hate speech laws. The Labor government's vow to write new laws stamping out hate preachers and beefing up criminal consequences now a matter of when, not if. The PM yesterday admitted he could have done more to tackle the rising hate towards Jewish people before 15 people were killed in the Bondi terror attack.
To breaking news in the United States now, where multiple people are feared dead following a fiery plane crash in North Carolina. Nine's Washington correspondent Lauren Tomasi is following the story and joins us now. Lauren, what do we know so far?
Sarah, we've just had confirmation from authorities that 6 people were on board this plane. Police haven't given the number of fatalities, but it is feared that all on board have been killed. You can see that black plume of smoke. This is in Statesville, North Carolina. It is a regional airport and one which is frequently used by NASCAR teams. We know that this Cessna Citation is owned by NASCAR driver Greg Biffle. We don't yet know if Mr. Biffle was on board, but what we do know is flight radar shows this plane had only just taken off from that airport when it circled back to attempt to make a landing, and that is when this crash has occurred. Sarah, we're expecting another update from authorities shortly. Terrifying pictures.
Yeah, terrible tragedy, Lauren, thank you. Well, Ghislaine Maxwell has launched a Hail Mary bid to have her sex trafficking conviction overturned by a US federal judge. The former girlfriend of disgraced financier Jeffrey Epstein has filed a petition asking for the court to drop her 20-year sentence, claiming substantial new evidence has emerged. It comes after several failed attempts by the British socialite to have her sentence reduced.
Residents across the East Coast are bracing for an intense heat wave set to swelter all the way through to Christmas. Let's go live to Today Melbourne reporter Stephanie Wacklewick. Steph, good morning to you. Just how hot will it be?
Well, Carl, there are heatwave warnings in place across the east coast. Temperatures expected to reach the high 30s to low 40s in inland and northern parts of Queensland and New South Wales. Victoria's Mallee and Wimmera regions also bracing for another day of extreme fire danger. Sadly, it is too late for the state's northeast. A house already lost in an out-of-control grass fire burning near Benalla overnight. Carl.
Thank you. Queensland pubgoers are calling on the government to scrap liquor laws, forcing them to buy a meal when drinking at pubs on public holidays. Under Queensland law, patrons must have a meal with their booze from 1 hour before till 1 hour after drinking. The renewed push follows Western Australia scrapping a similar rule just last week. You've got to line the stomach, Jane.
Absolutely. Year 12 students have plenty to cheer about after the release of their HSC results, but especially those at North Sydney boys who have come out on top for the third year in a row. Almost 72% of students received a mark of 90 or more, narrowly beating James Roos with 70.4. Public selective schools took out 7 spots in the top 10 across the state. The ex-astronomer employee caught canoodling with her CEO on Coldplay's Kiss Cam has broken her silence months after her 16-second public display of affection with her then boss Andy Byron. Kristen Carbo says the moment came down to a bad decision after a couple of high noons. The 53-year-old mother went on to admit Byron was her big happy crush and said the lapse in judgment had been like her scarlet letter. Anyone who believes the perfect partner does not exist, this may be just prove you wrong. A woman in Japan has married her AI-generated boyfriend with a little help of augmented reality goggles. She's created her AI husband based on a video game character using ChatGPT. Like any other wedding, the pair exchanged rings and vows before posing for pictures. It's raised a few eyebrows and questions over AI's role in romantic relationships. At least he wouldn't leave the toilet seat up. Yeah. England's batters wilted under the baking sun on day 2 of the Adelaide Test as Pat Cummins made a triumphant return to the Australian Test team by taking 3 wickets. However, day 2 belonged to Nathan Lyon, who surpassed Glenn McGrath to become Australia's second leading wicket taker behind Shane Warne.
To be honest, we haven't really thought about it just as yet, but I grew up idolising Shane Warne and Glenn McGrath and these guys who, as my childhood, were my heroes.
Ben Stokes and Jofra Archer provided some resistance to the Aussie bowling attack, but England still trail by 158 runs.
Well, Prince William and Princess Kate have released their annual Christmas card featuring a new photograph of the family of 5.
Let's go live to 9 Europe correspondent Mimi Becker in London. Mimi, everyone was all smiles.
They certainly were, Sarah and Carl. And Prince Louis seems to be missing a few teeth, so it is clear that the children are growing up. It is a beautiful photo, though, and it was taken in the English countryside earlier this year. The family wanted to wish everyone a happy Christmas. Now, the King was also out celebrating Christmas today as he opened the Guinness Brewery in London. His Majesty was told that he poured the perfect pint, and he was all smiles as he was also forced to wipe away a Guinness moustache as he tasted the drink there. Now, it is the first public outing of the King since he announced the cancer treatment will be wound back in the early new year. So the King has a lot to celebrate this Christmas. Sarah and Carl.
Indeed. Thank you, Mimi.
Your family photos look like that.
Not that pretty.
Mine certainly don't. Usually someone's pulling a crazy face.
It's crazy. Yeah. Well, let's take a look at the weather across the country now. And a heatwave is continuing over the south and southeast parts of the country with hot days and even warmer nights set for South Australia, Victoria and New South Wales.
And the top end of the nation can expect showers and thunderstorms today.